Hey, peace of Christ, Pastor Josh here. This is your weekly video update. Today I want to maybe answer the question that you have, maybe you don't have, but why a church voters meeting? Why do we do that at Peace with Christ? And maybe the simple place to start with is that our bylaws or our constitution requires it. We're actually required by law to have bylaws and a constitution. We're a non-for-profit as a church. And so we have to kind of have those rules. And really, I think those bylaws, that constitution, it's really actually helpful because it's kind of the way that we as a church get to say, this is how we're going to walk together. There's certain things that the pastor gets to do, that the members get to do, that the council gets to do. There's certain things that are just givens in our church. And I love that. And our bylaws and constitution, among other things, says that we're going to be focused on Jesus. We're going to be focused on the Bible. And those are good things. But there begins to be in our voters meeting, there begins to be really some practical ways that we're called to walk together. And one of those is that you as the voters are the only ones that approve the budget. We have to then follow that budget during the year as staff, and council kind of looks over that. But that's something that's given to you as a church, that you're the ones that get to approve that budget. And so part of the meeting will be you approving a budget. It's been in the packet. You can look at it. And really, we think that's valuable, that's your role. You get also to elect council members. There's going to be 5 that you're going to elect. 5 positions that are empty this year, and so there's some great nominations there, and so you get to elect those people. The final thing that you're really going to get to approve or not approve at our meeting is the worship space update. So we've talked about that quite a bit, so you get to see a picture of that at the meeting, get a little bit of information about it, and then we're going to vote. And you're going to vote, do we move on with that worship space? Or are you okay worshiping in the new space as designed? Or are you going to say no? And we'll go back to the drawing board as we look to update that space. And so that's really kind of the 3 big things that we're going to be voting on, that your voice is going to be important for, that you're going to get to decide kind of some of the direction for us as a church. The other thing that happens is that you as a staff, or we as staff, get to kind of tell you a little bit about what's going on in our ministry. And so that's kind of what the meeting will consist of. It'll probably, depending on how it goes, about an hour and a half, somewhere in there for time frame. But that's kind of the goal of that meeting. But really, I think it comes down to this. So yes, bylaws require it, but really it's what we get to do as owners. I don't know if you know this, but actually legally, it's the members that own Peace with Christ. Like, we are owned by our members. It's kind of crazy. And that's actually a big responsibility. Our building and facilities and grounds on our last insurance assessment, they valued what we own is about $8 million. And so the church, what we own here is pretty valuable. And it's not owned by me. It's not owned by our synod, the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. It's actually owned by you as members. And so there's a lot of times where we call you owners. And so in a way, this is kind of our owners meeting, the chance for us to get together. And so my job as a senior pastor is kind of to handle the day-to-day leading of our staff and ministry and all those things. That's the role that you asked me to do. But really, when we come together as our owners meeting, that's where you get to kind of ask questions and speak what's going on to. And really, you're again given that authority to approve the budget, to approve our officers of the church. That's our council members. That their job really is to oversee me in a little more detail-oriented basis. But that's kind of why we have these meetings. It's a chance for us to check in how we're doing. Here's some updates, celebrate our church, but really for us to kind of all be in this together. So again, an hour and a half, probably closer to an hour and a half, that'll take us to have our meeting. But I would just encourage you to be there, to give a little time, to say a prayer for it this week, that just God would work through that time together, and that He would just uplift us and encourage us as we continue as a church to work to reach one more in Christ. Well, you guys have a great day. God's blessings. Bye.